Good afternoon, everybody. Big Mike back here with you once again, and welcome back to Big Mike Talks. And today, we are going to cover the first part of the week of May 15th, 2023. Now that it's been an interesting week for pro wrestling, so grab yourself a snack, maybe something to drink. Let's do this. So, obviously, gonna kick off with the first part of the week, starting with Monday Night Raw. And we start off with a Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn promo, saying how, there's as surprised as everyone else that they're continuing this bloodline thing, but instead of the Usos, they're going to be challenged by Roman Reigns and Solo Sikoa at Night of Champions. This was revealed on SmackDown, so I didn't cover that this week. I do apologize for that. Sami and KO called this duo not a threat, but an opportunity, a chance at revenge for Roman for what they've done to them. And Sami Zayn says, yeah, you should have beaten Roman at the Royal Rumble. I should have beaten Roman at Elimination Chamber. And yet, we all got screwed over by the bloodline. And he has been unchecked his entire reign. Well, now at Night of Champions, he gets checked. Which, great line, can't wait. Should be an interesting matchup, so we'll see what happens at Night of Champions. I got a little news on that for a little later, so stay tuned for that. And if the Bloodline want their tag titles, you're going to have to run through us. Out comes the Judgment Day, in which I'm kind of getting sick of the Judgment Day. Don't get me wrong, I still like them as a stable. But them interrupting promos, it's something that needs tweaking. Sami and KO pretty much says, yeah, I'm done with this talking, let's have a fight. Damian Priest says, okay, sure. Finn Balor holds them back. He says, we're not here to fight. Sami says, we have no issue with the Judgment Day. Why are you coming out here? And then Finn Balor wishes Zayn and Owens luck in their match at Night of Champions. And they thought they were done with the bloodline. Obviously not. And you're pretty much right back where you started. And we'll be waiting here at the front of the line when you get back. So, maybe a little foreshadowing for the next challengers, in which Judgment Day versus Sami KO. I could be down with that. They then get into a bit of a brawl. Sami Zayn then gets a big old chair, runs off the Judgment Day. So it looks like we're definitely going to be having a match between these two teams later on in the evening. I'll get to that. Interesting way to start off, although it feels very by the numbers, these opening segments. Like, group talks about whatever, bloodline interrupts, and it needs tweaking. These opening segments. Like, I want to see something a little different open up Raw. Speaking of different, there's nothing different here, as we got Shinsuke Nakamura taking on The Miz. And, they have their issues from the World Title Tournament, as The Miz has been trying to recruit Nakamura to his side, which I don't love. Like, Nakamura doesn't need to be with The Miz. Let's have him somewhere else. Let's have him against Gunther. Why not? Match pretty much starts off heavily in Nakamura's favor. Miz does get some things in, including a skull-crushing finale, but Nakamura kicks out. Miz goes for the figure four, but that ends in a roll-up 2 count, and then right into the Kinshasa for the victory for Nakamura. And like match itself wasn't bad, but I feel like we could do something a bit more with Nakamura. And maybe that includes the Intercontinental title. Somewhere down the line. We then get a Raquel Gonzalez, Santana, Chelsea Green, and Raquel Gonzalez, Chelsea Green, and Sonya Deville are all backstage. They're talking to Adam Pearce. It's revealed that on Friday, Liv Morgan suffered an injury, and she and Raquel cannot defend the tag team titles tonight. And then Green and Sonya pretty much complain, "Oh, that's so them. You should be defending your titles anyway, blah, blah, blah." Raquel then stops them, pretty much says, "Oh, you know what? I don't mind taking on either of you one-on-one, so why don't I go at you, Miss Green?" So that match is set up for later. We then get a brief history behind, brief recap of the Seth Out Rollins interviews that came before, covering NXT, covering his time with the Shield, and we are getting part 3 of that later on in the night, in which that's going to be interesting. We then have Imperium coming down to the ring, in which Kaiser introduces Gunther. Gunther pretty much says, "Right now I'm a dominant Intercontinental Champion, and a worthy challenger has yet to be picked. That's why we have this Battle Royal coming up to determine my challenger for Night of Champions." We then get into the Battle Royal, which includes Ricochet, Apollo Crews, Bronson Reed, Mustafa Ali, Matt Riddle, Chad Gable, Otis, Baron Corbin, Von Wagner, Johnny Gargano, Dexter Lumis, JD McDonough, Riddick Moss, Elias, Shelton Benjamin, Cedric Alexander, Masay Mansoor, Humberto, Angel, Eric and Ivar, Akira Tozawa, Zion Quinn. Yeah, a lot of filler names, but also some being called up to the main roster for the first time. Start out quick eliminations for Tozawa and Corbin. Lumis then gets dumped over. A little bit after that, Maximum Male Models as a whole gets eliminated, along with Humberto. JD McDonough gets eliminated by Dolph Ziggler. Not long after that, Ziggler is eliminated. Then on the outside, McDonough attacks Ziggler. So I guess they're going to be starting a feud. We had a little stare down between Alpha Academy and the Viking Raiders. That could be a fun feud. Otis and Ivar get eliminated. Actually, I think they eliminate each other, which that was a pretty fun spot. Not long after that, Elias, Apollo Crews, Riddick Moss, Gargano, all eliminated. Ringside Imperium are there, and they start messing with Matt Riddle, including Gunther, Kaiser, and Vinci, distracting the ref, and Gunther eliminating Matt Riddle, which that's interesting. It looks like we're going to see a Riddle Gunther feud in the next little bit. And then the craziest spot of the night for the victory, you have Bronson Reed holding on to the outside. Both Ricochet and Ali are trying to eliminate him. Riddle goes for a crossbody. Reed catches him. Then on the other side of the ring, you have Ali going to the top rope, drop kick, and they are both eliminated. So your winner, and facing Gunther at Night of Champions, Mustafa Ali. And honestly, I think it's about time Ali gets a nice opportunity like this. And hopefully, they give this match time at Night of Champions. I feel like this could be a really, really good matchup if WWE let it be and not have it be a 20-second squash match. Next up, we get a Becky Lynch promo. Pretty much saying, to be the man, I gotta put a lot on my shoulders. For the last couple months, I've had a lot on my plate. Thinking I had a couple of friends, including one of them turning on me. And then when Trish hit me in the back, it turned on the light and brought me back to my man-like state. And then when she called my daughter stupid, I needed to stand up for myself. So that's when I attacked her. And Trish, I want you at Night of Champions. So it looks like we're going to see those two in a match. That could be a fun one. Then we get a backstage interview with Rhea Ripley. With Rhea telling Natalya to stay in her lane. To respect my dominant reign. In comes Natalya. It's not about staying in the lane. And it's about you not giving others respect when they need be. Whether that be Zelina Vega or Dana Brooke or even myself. So Rhea then retorts, you're trying to piggyback off my success to try to make people care about you. But if you get involved in my business again, it might be the last time. So, looks like we're going to see a Natalya-Rhea feud for a little bit. More than likely, this is a holdover for something bigger down the road. We then see Mustafa Ali walking backstage. He runs into Otis, Chad Gable, and Maxine Dupri. They're arguing about what happened during the Battle Royal. Ali says, then, guys, be positive. You don't know what you have until it's gone. You two are a great team, and you did great in the Battle Royal. He then turns a corner, and there's Imperium. Then Gunther says, hey, I just want to wish you luck. This is going to be your biggest loss in your career. And I'm going to pretty much give you the biggest beatings of your career. Which, that's a threat. It's going to be interesting to see what happens at Night of Champions. We then get this repeat match, which is very weird. You have Xavier Woods versus Dominic Mysterio, and it's pretty much cut and paste from what happened last week. Woods and Dom trade blows for a little bit. Dom hits the Three Amigos. Woods goes for the elbow drop finisher. Rhea pulls him out of the ring. Dom gets back in the ring. And then, via the roll-up, your winner, Dominic Mysterio. Like I said, very cut and paste, very kind of pointless to me. I'm sorry. Like, I love Woods. Dom Mysterio is pretty much the biggest heel in any company right now. So, yeah, we'll see how this goes. We then get a JD McDonough vignette. He's the Destructor. The Irish Ace is here to stay. We then get a JD McDonough interview as he's leaving the arena. Interviewer pretty much says, "Why did you beat up Dolph Ziggler?" Pretty much says, "Oh, I'm here to send a message that you don't mess with the Irish Ace." Then, once the camera pans up, you see on one of the other levels of the car park, you see Finn Balor watching. Which, that's going to be interesting. Indus Sher pretty much squashes a couple of job guys. I guess pretty impressive showing. I would not have minded WWE booking a squash match against, say, the Viking Raiders or someone. Someone who's actually in the tag team division that you could see easily taking a loss and not be harmed by it because, they're not really doing anything. So, yeah, a little bit of a nothing match, but we'll see where Indus Sher goes. We have KO and Sami Zayn backstage. They're arguing a little bit. Then Imperium walk up. Gunther then says, "You just disrespected my guys last week in this loss." KO then stands up and says, "Look, we're already booked for this week. We got Judgment Day coming up. We'll see you next week and we'll pick a partner. And we'll face all three of you." We then get a Cody Rhodes promo, which, of course, fired up. He goes over the history of the arena, saying it was the site of the first Starrcade, in which his father had a heavy hand in. Pretty much says, yeah, Lesnar isn't here. He is a sportsman being a fraud. He then tells the Frog Scorpion story, which I'm sure everyone here has heard. Then he says it's Brock's nature to hunt. He is a hunter. Then he asks Brock how's his face, because I broke Brock. I hunted the hunter. And then a little bit after that, he accepts Brock Lesnar's challenge for a fight at Night of Champions. He then puts over Lesnar as being better than 99.99% of the roster, which kind of bearing the roster there, Cody. Not gonna lie. Then uses his Brock Lesnar's old nickname as the next big thing. Then he asks, what's next? Who is next? He is not the next big thing anymore. He is just in my way. Which, very short and sweet promo from Cody. I'm a little bit more hyped for the Night of Champions rematch. So we'll see where this goes. We then see backstage Zoe Starks talking to Nikki Cross, kind of insulting her a little bit, calling her a freak. Then Candice LeRae interrupts. pretty much says, hey, you can't talk like that to my friend. I'm not going to allow it to you. Why don't we settle this in the ring? So next week we're going to see that match. That should be an interesting one. We then get Raquel Gonzalez versus Chelsea Green, which was ultimately a little bit competitive, but let's face it, ultimately it was to showcase Raquel. And then after a big old powerbomb, your winner, Raquel Rodriguez. She takes the title, walks up the ramp, holds it high, and then from out of nowhere, you have Ronda Rousey with one of the weirdest looking drop kicks I've ever seen, considering she slips. In comes Shayna Baszler as well. They start beating on Raquel. Raquel then asks, what are you doing with the title? That's a rhetorical question. You have to defend it. And whether Liv is here or not, you're going to defend it. So it looks like we're going to get Rousey and Baszler versus at least Raquel. We'll see what happens to Liv in the near future. We then see Imperium in the backstage area. Someone extends a hand to them. Gunter shakes it. Pans back. It's Paul Heyman. He then gets on the phone calling Roman, saying things are set for tonight. We then get the second part of the Seth Rollins interview, pretty much saying there's been many forms of Seth Rollins. You got the Shield member, you got a member of the Authority, you had the Heist of the Century Rollins, and then why is current Rollins the best? Seth then pretty much says, I get to drink in all the adulation from my fans. It has been something natural that I haven't forced anything upon. And it's a relationship I've been waiting to have with the crowd for a long time, and now that I have it, I fear losing it. Interviewer then brings up the new world title. Seth pretty much says, we need a change at the top. Roman has been part-time for so long. We need a fighting champion who's on these shows every day. And he wants to take some more risks. And it is the perfect time for a new world championship, in which, I don't know, for now it does feel like a runner-up belt, considering no one can beat Roman. But hopefully with Seth winning it, he can bring it a little prestige. We then get an Apollo Crews training vignette, which was fine. We then get our main event of the evening, Judgment Day, being represented by Damian Priest and Finn Balor, take on Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. And honestly, this was a lot of fun match, a lot of good back and forth. Midway through the main event, Balor and Priest call down Rhea and Dom. They calm down. Interferences start with the refs distracted. Plenty of 2 counts. Then Imperium, near the end of the match, Imperium come to ringside. So it looks like Heyman has executed another coup a bit. Priest tries for the South of Heaven. Kevin Owens counters with a stunner. Then Sami Zayn with a big suplex, haluva kick. At that point, Imperium get up on the apron. They're distracting the ref and Sami. Then Priest hits a South of Heaven on KO on the apron, which that looked rough. Sammy looks like he's going for a Helluva Kick. Gunther holds his leg with the ref distracted. Balor with the big drop kick, a coup de grace, and your winners, the Judgment Day. Now, am I a little sad, a little pissed off that the tag team champions got pinned in a non-title match? Sure, but it does make this alliance feel more dangerous. Like, you can still feel Roman's influence on these things, but now with Imperium and Judgment Day at least temporarily in tow, who knows what this could mean for the rest of the roster. Alright, that is Monday Night Raw. We now roll right into NWA Power, which it was a pretty dang good episode. And we start off with the NWA Women's TV title match as Sierra, who debuted not too long before this, takes on champion Kenzie Page. And honestly, this was a bit of a whirlwind. It was definitely a little quick, but with the 6:05 time limit, it does make sense. And then after a bit of a cutter from out of nowhere, your winner, Kenzie Page, still champion. We then get an EC3 interview. He gives out his thoughts and prayers for his boy Jeez, who is out sick. So hopefully we get to see him back soon. He then states about his upcoming match with Thrillbilly Silas. He says, yeah, this match isn't going to go down. He's going to make Thrillbilly an offer he cannot refuse. He then calls him a dog, which kind of insulting, but he then says he's going to be Dog Man's best friend. Brave, heartful, loyal, and listens to orders. So does that mean EC3 is going to try to recruit Silas? Which could be an interesting story. I do hope the match does go down, but we'll see. We then get a warm-up match for the Crockett Cup, as we have JR Kratos and Odinson, a couple of heavy hitters, taking on Scion and Jordan Clearwater. And we definitely have a little chicanery to start with. We have plenty of tag-ins and tag-outs. But then, match gets underway very, very quickly with some elbows and knees. Plenty of pinfalls. Definitely a lot of... definitely a very interesting move as we see Odinson F5 Kratos into Scion with a big splash. So that was pretty unique. I like seeing new stuff like that.
They're saying they're here, but they can't reach us. Thank you.
Then that leads to a game changer and a 2. We get some definitely get some more power stuff from Kratos and Odinson. Meanwhile, Scion is trying his best to use a bit more of his speed, but that doesn't work. And then after a big old pounce by Odinson, your winners, Odinson and Kratos. That was definitely a big fun match. We'll see where this goes in the future for the Crockett Cup. Speaking of the Crockett Cup, we got a new team revealed. As it's revealed, the NWA television champion Tom Latimer and Rhett Titus will be teaming up for the Cup. Rhett Titus called his partner the pick of the litter, which that's going to be fun. That's a funny one. Rhett Titus then calls his shot, saying, yeah, we're going right to the finals. We're going to win that trophy. Then Latimer says, yeah, after you challenged me for the title not long ago, I have some mad respect for you. And it's going to be you and me versus the world. And I want that trophy. So, that was a fun little promo. Let us see the camaraderie between two competitors who are not usually tag team guys, but that's fine. Next up, we got a triple threat match as we see Fodder taking on Alex Taylor and the debuting Kota Luxamania, I believe his name is. I'm sorry if I butchered that. This match starts out very, very quickly, and it doesn't slow down till the end. A lot of double teaming at first against the new man, but then they each do their own thing against one another. Then after a hair of the dog, which that's an interesting name for a finisher, your winner, Alex Taylor. We then get to hear from Magnum Muscle in an interview, basically saying we were screwed at 3-1-2, cut off at the knees, but we don't blame our opponents, we don't blame the interference. This one is on us, so that next time we're not making the same mistake. The tag titles are ours the next time we get a shot. And we're going to take down La Rebellion. Excuse me. And finally, in our main event of the evening, we have a tag team match, playa, as Pretty Empowered take on La Rosa Negra and La Brava Escobar. And honestly, this was a nice, tightly knit, woven tag team match. Everyone got their stuff in. Everyone looked great together. But after a Gory Bomb X Factor combination by Pretty Empowered, they are your winners. So, that was definitely a fun match. Can't wait to see where this goes from here. And like I said, that's your main event for Power. And now we go into the last show I'll be covering in this episode. It's AEW Dynamite. As we get a Wardlow promo. A solo Wardlow promo. Pretty much saying, yeah, Christian Cage last week made a lot of promises. I'd like to see him fulfill it. Pretty much challenges Christian Cage to come out with Luchasaurus. They do. Luchasaurus, Christian Cage get in the ring. Looks like they jaw for a little bit. Then it looks like Christian Cage is about to hock a loogie into Wardlow's face. Wardlow grabs him by the throat. Then Luchasaurus starts beating on Wardlow. And while Christian Cage has Wardlow down, beating him up, Luchasaurus gets a ladder, sets it up in the corner. No, first Christian Cage hits Wardlow with the ladder, and then Luchasaurus choke slams him through, and then a kill switch on the ladder to end the segment. So it looks like, and later on in the evening, it was announced that we are getting Wardlow versus Christian Cage at Double or Nothing in a ladder match for the TNT title. And honestly, I'm pretty hyped for it. That's going to be an interesting little matchup. Should be a lot of fun. Speaking of an interesting matchup, we have Orange Cassidy and Darby Allin taking on Lee Moriarty and Big Bill. I am surprised Moriarty and Big Bill are up right now, because last Friday they had a heck of a bout in the Hardy compound. This was definitely a fun little match. Lee Moriarty and Darby Allin definitely did well together. And then you got the X factor of the big man, Big Bill. He gets in everyone's way a little bit. But then after a beach break, a coffin drop, and then Darby Allin goes for a headlock takeover, in which is a message to MJF. Your winners, Orange Cassidy and Darby Allin. Now, the significance of the headlock takeover finish is that the first time Darby Allin and MJF had a match together, MJF beat Darby Allin with that move. So, very clear message, and honestly, the storytelling there is right there. That four-way is going to be interesting. We then get the Young Bucks arriving at the arena. They then get surrounded by the Blackpool Combat Club. They pretty much tell the interviewer before that Kenny Omega is going to be alright after the attack by Don Callis. They then throw their suitcases at the Blackpool Combat Club. That doesn't stop them. They just start brawling in the back. And yeah, that's definitely going to be an interesting one to see where that goes. We then get a Wardlow backstage interview while he's being taken care of by the doctors. We got Arn Anderson walking in. Wardlow then says, yeah, you now see why I asked you to stay in the back. Arn then says, what are you prepared to do against this? Then Wardlow turns to the camera, pretty much says, Christian Cage, double or nothing, I want you. You want the title? It's on. TNT title ladder match at double or nothing. So, that's going to be a fun one. We then get an Orange Cassidy interview. Pretty much saying, yeah, how everyone wants a shot at the international title. And I'll fight you all. Which, yeah, that's going to be interesting later on. Don't you worry about that. We then get a Sammy Guevara squash match. Over in like 2 seconds. He then gets a microphone in front of his hometown crowd. Pretty much saying, yeah, every time I come here, I'm reminded of the good times. The back and forth on the road before AEW was a thing. And now, that built me to here. While I am not perfect, I have grown up in front of you tonight. We've taken so many wrong turns that we've eventually made it to the right destination, which is the AEW World title. In which, nice short, interesting promo from Sammy Guevara. It does look like they're trying to turn Sammy face, in which, I don't know, I guess I'm okay with that. We then get what was supposed to be a Jeff Jarrett, Jay Lethal, Sanjay Dutt, Satnam Singh interview. Before that could happen, FTR jump all of them on the ramp. They start brawling. They get in the ring. FTR have Jeff Jarrett ready for a big rig. In comes Karen Jarrett. For the first time in a long time since I've seen her. Low blow on Dax. Stroke to Cash. They then get a couple of guitars with Dax and Cash's name on them. Double El Kabong. And they pose with the titles. That match is definitely going to be a little bit more interesting. As much as I'm sick of seeing J&J getting title shots, this made this matchup a little bit more personal, and I'm here for it. We then get a Darby Allin backstage interview, pretty much saying, yeah, this is the biggest match in my career, in Sammy's career, in Jungle Boy's career. And one of us is going to take that title. In comes Sammy. Pretty much says, yeah, I'm not going to take the dive for MJF. I'm here to win the title. And while we don't always see eye to eye, I have some massive respect for you. And that extends to Jungle Boy. But at Double or Nothing, one of us needs to take the title off MJF. In which, I definitely put some wrinkles on this upcoming matchup. So, yeah, we'll see how this goes. We then get a nice little tag team match playa as the Outcast, being represented by Ruby Soho and Toni Storm, take on Hikaru Shida and Britt Baker. Now, this was meant to be a 6-person tag. However, apparently Jamie Hayter suffered an injury and will not get cleared by the doctors. So instead we have this little tag match. In which, honestly, this was a good match. Like, obviously not something super hot to write home about, but for a TV match, was pretty darn good. During points of the match, we have Saraya trying to intervene and then definitely getting hit by one of the other members in the match. Eventually, Saraya just distracts the ref, slides a can of the spray paint into Storm, who sprays it in Shida's eyes, then hits a Storm Zero for the win for the Outcasts. So, that was definitely a lot of fun, and we're going to see where this goes in a little bit. Speaking of where this something goes, we now get another Orange Cassidy interview, as it's revealed 20 people went to go talk to Tony Khan about an international title shot. Cassidy then said, yeah, I'm going to fight them all. Well, so that would be 21 people. That's Blackjack. We're going to call it the Blackjack Battle Royal. And that's for the international title. In which, yeah, that's pretty cool. I like that. Something a little different for Orange Cassidy. He's been taking on all-comers ever since winning the international title. I'm kind of hoping for some surprises in this. Like, I know Kyle Fletcher put his hat in the ring. I'm kind of hoping for some people who are maybe not regulars with AEW. Just a thought. We then get the Tony Khan announcement, pretty much stating this is the greatest day in AEW history, as we have announced our new show coming Saturdays at 8. It's AEW Collision, and we are starting off with, that will be starting in June. So I will adjust my schedule as needed. We'll get to that. They're going to be touring Canada for a little bit. Then they're going to take Collision to New Jersey. And the first Collision, which hasn't been announced yet, will be coming next week. So we got another announcement to look forward to. A lot of people are saying it's going to be the United Center, and it's going to be the return of Punk, which we'll see about that. We then have our next match, the Falls Count Anywhere match between Chris Jericho and Roderick Strong. Strong jumps Jericho right at the go, hits him with a bunch of backbreakers, in which I definitely missed the Messiah of the backbreaker. I've missed that Roderick Strong. Not to say he didn't do that in NXT, but when it comes to Roderick, he felt a little bit watered down in WWE. Now, he kind of feels like himself again. Although I really only got to see Roderick Strong in TNA, so I didn't get that full version of Roddy. We then get to slip outside the ring. At one point, Jericho hits him with the walls of Jericho. Eventually, they get thrown over the railing and go through the crowd. We then have a facebuster to Jericho on the guardrail, the railing that you hold on to get to your seats for a 2 count. We then get to the concourse, in which they get into everything, including a merch table, some concessions, and apparently some Mr. Softy was used, which that popped the heck out of me. Then we get some trash cans thrown, and then we see Roderick Strong and Jericho go outside, and from behind is Adam Cole, baby, as it is part of the stipulation is the Jericho Appreciation Society and Adam Cole could not be in the arena, so this was a very clever trap by Strong and Adam Cole. Adam Cole then hits Jericho with the boom. A big old knee strike from Roddy for the 1, 2, 3. You're a winner, Roderick Strong. Honestly, that match was a lot of fun, and honestly, I cannot recommend it enough. Go watch it if you like. Maybe some more silly wrestling, but it worked. Bit more serious wrestling. Next up, we have Rush versus Jungle Boy. And honestly, the styles clash here definitely worked. You have the Rush, more hardcore, brutal style against the babyface, try to overcome things the right way, Jungle Boy. And, it led to a lot of near falls. It looked like at one point Rush was going for the bullhorns. He misses it. Jungle Boy goes for the snare trap, but Rush gets out of it. Rush then pushes the ref out of the way near the end for the roll up by Jungle Boy. So your winner, Jungle Boy. We then see the rest of LFI get in and start beating down on Jungle Boy. We got Darby Allin trying to make the save on his own, but the numbers are too much. Then out comes Sammy Guevara, who evens things up. We get a Scorpion Death Drop by Darby Allin. Big old drop kick by Sammy. And they all just look at each other. We then get a try at an MJF interview, who's watching this on the screen. He then slaps the microphone out of Renee Paquette's hands and just walks off. So he is not happy with it, but more than likely he's got a plan. We then get a Toni Storm interview. She's got 4 wins in 5 days, which good for her. She then calls out Jamie Hayter in a challenge for the AEW Women's title at Double or Nothing. That's pretty much made official, in which, yeah, I'm in for that. We then get a match I think a lot of us have been waiting for a long time. We got Jay White, the Switchblade, taking on Ricky Starks. And oh boy, I feel like this was a pro wrestling masterclass. It was great. However, by the end, you have Juice Robinson, who's sitting ringside, brings in the chair, looks like he's going to hit Ricky Starks. Ricky punks him out, gets the chair, and then hits Jay White with it. Like, I know he wants revenge for all the stuff Jay White's done to him, but that's DQ win isn't how I wanted to see this to end. But it's more than likely we're going to get a rematch somewhere soon. Maybe Double or Nothing pre-show. We'll see. So, post-match, Stark swings again at Jay White. Juice Robinson saves him. And they walk it off. So that was our main event match. We now get to our main event promo, which is Don Callis. And I can't believe that happened. Ramp is surrounded by security. You see footage of last week where he betrayed Kenny Omega. Gets in the ring, takes the microphone. He pretty much says, "You want to know why I did what I did? Kenny Omega isn't the victim. I am. I've pretty much held Kenny Omega to this high standard. Got him to the top. Having him fight Chris Jericho in the Tokyo Dome. And other accomplishments. It was me. And without me, there is no Kenny Omega. Kenny Omega's music hits. He's ready to go. He's trying to fight through the crowd of security. Blackpool Combat Club show up. They start beating on Kenny. Paradigm shift to Kenny Omega. Blackpool Combat Club get in the ring. Mox pretty much says, "Yeah, Kenny, this war is already over. We've won. Do yourself a favor and stay down." Kenny Omega gets up. Out come the Young Bucks. They've got weapons. Kenny has the broom. It looks like they're ready to go. Bam, bam. Hangman Adam Page joins them on the ramp. Kenny then gives him the broom. And they charge the ring, start brawling with the Blackpool Combat Club. And that finishes with a beautiful buckshot lariat. Hangman then gets on the mic, pretty much says, "We are the heart and the soul of AEW. We are the elite. And at Double or Nothing, it's the elite versus the Blackpool Combat Club. Anarchy in the arena. Ooh, I can't wait for this. Double or Nothing looks absolutely stacked. Looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. And I can't wait." Now, for the rest of this week, obviously I'll be covering Impact, Ring of Honor, SmackDown, and Rampage. Although Rampage is going first again this week. It's going to be on at 6:30 tomorrow evening, so that should be a fun one. Next week, I'd say about maybe on Wednesday, I'm going to be doing my predictions for pretty much the entire weekend this weekend. We got Friday, Under Siege. Saturday, during the day, we got Night of Champions for WWE. And Sunday, Double or Nothing. Now, here's the only thing. Saturday, I have a family function coming up, which should be a lot of fun. So I will not be viewing Night of Champions during their broadcast. Instead, I think I'm going to do that on Monday and then give my review for all three shows maybe on Tuesday. So hopefully you can stay tuned for that along with my reviews. And that also goes to show next week I will not be reviewing SmackDown, Rampage, or NWA USA due to these, pretty big shows. So, and also my reviews for later on in the week will probably be going down on Sunday. So, stay tuned for that. And hope you all enjoyed. Please like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you enjoyed this week. Let me know your favorite match. And let me know what you're looking forward to in the coming week. Because we're being spoiled right now in wrestling. And I'm hyped for it. Till next time, happy wrestling, everybody. Peace.